Hello, it's Anton. Today we're talking about Taikyoku Shogi, which translates to Ultimate Chess. For those who aren't familiar with shogi, it's similar to Western chess. These are a list of the pieces. We have kings, rooks, bishops, knights, and pawns. But there are a few pieces that exist in shogi that don't exist in Western chess. For example, the lance can only move forward, and it can move forward as many spaces as it wants. There are also gold and silver generals, and you'll see how they move shortly. Before I explain Taikyoku Shogi and why it's so crazy, I have to first explain standard shogi. This is what a game looks like. Now, the first thing you might notice is that all of the pieces have Japanese characters. That's because this is in fact Japanese chess. On the board here, we have pawns in our front row. We have a bishop and a rook, 2 lances, 2 knights, 2 silver generals, 2 gold generals, and the king. To demonstrate some of the differences between shogi and Western chess, I'll go ahead and play a game. We'll start with a pawn move. As usual, this frees up my bishop. I can go ahead and take this. And now we see one of the first differences. In shogi, every piece can promote. It's not just the pawns. This bishop turns into a horse or a dragon horse, and the silver general takes. Here's another difference between shogi and Western chess. You can play pieces that you've captured. This means that there's hardly ever ties because you can just keep playing pieces. Another difference between shogi and Western chess is the knights can only move forward 2 and then 1 to either side. So you can't move 1 forward and 2 to the side. Another difference is that in shogi, pawns capture straight forward. There's no capturing to the side. Now we're in a difficult spot. That rook is now promoted into a dragon or dragon king. I can go ahead and take it, thankfully. And now that bishop has taken one of my pieces, but it didn't promote, interestingly enough. Now it's promoted. Like Western chess, there is such a thing as check, so I do have to do something in order to be out of check. So in this case, all I can do is place a piece, and that is checkmate. As you can see, I'm not the greatest at shogi, but I think that should give you a pretty good idea of what the game normally looks like. Now for comparison, Taikyoku Shogi looks like this. Each player has 402 pieces of either 207 or 209 types, depending on who you ask. These strategy games were designed for generals to help hone their strategic skills, but many actual armies were smaller than this game. There are only 2 restored sets of this that exist in the world. There also has only ever been one televised game of Taikyoku Shogi, which was broadcast on May 19th, 2004. The game took 32 hours and 41 minutes, and it lasted 3,805 moves before the player won. I just want to point out as well that shogi has way cooler names than Western chess. Let's go ahead and go down the list of pieces. And of course, you're going to have to remember the unique movement patterns of all of these pieces, plus their promoted forms. So we have here king, prince, which promotes to king, the great general, the gold general promotes to rook, right general, which promotes to right army, left general, same left army, rear standard, center standard, queen into great general, the free dream eater, which turns to queen, the wooden and ceramic doves, which don't promote, of course, earth dragon, which turns to rain dragon, free demon, which also turns into a queen, the running horse, which turns into a free demon, but you can't promote it again, etc. I do also like these 4 pieces. The Yaksha, Buddhist devil, guardian of the gods, and wrestler all turn into the heavenly tetrarch. There's a piece called the drunken elephant, which becomes a prince. There's a piece called the pig general, which turns into a free pig. Dobby is a free pig. There's 4 types of barbarian pieces, northern, southern, western, and eastern. Don't mix them up. That turn into the wooden dove, golden bird, lion dog, and the lion. There's the enchanted badger, in case anyone needs a band name. Of course, here's the diagram of pieces. Even just the legend is a full page, and then you have to learn how everything moves. Now, it's worth noting that some of these are contested. Obviously, there's so many pages of rules required to play a game like this that there are some discrepancies. But here's the general idea. Pawns forward, these pieces forward and back, these ones diagonal, the front 3, swooping owl and tile general and sword soldier. You see they have reverse patterns. My god. That's so many. Here's a couple of highlights. The drunken elephant, neighboring king, and rushing boar move just like a king in Western chess, except backwards. They don't go there. And then there's the dark spirit. This is really Derek Zoolander, can't turn left. The blind tiger, who can go everywhere except forward. This is a fun one. Guardian of the Gods, which one is just the sickest title ever. But 2 can move just like a rook, but only 3 spaces at a time, which sounds like a lot until you remember that this is how big the board is. So 3 spaces at a time will take a long time to get anywhere. We have this sword general here, whose capture pattern looks like a fork. We should call him the fork general. And here's the heavenly tetrarch I mentioned earlier. Tetrarch comes from tetra, which means 4, so of course it can move 4 squares in any direction. It's still going to take a while to cross the board. We have the chicken general and the pup general, whose movement pattern I'm just seeing for the first time. And it's more like the choking the chicken general, am I right? Anyway, we have the mountain stag, which does actually look a little bit like a stag in movement. The leopard king, which is like the heavenly tetrarch, but 1 better, 5 in any direction. This is a fun one, the mountain witch. Mountain witch can move any number of squares backwards, and when the witch reaches the first rank, it just has to stay there until the other person takes it. Here we have the wizard stork. Its move isn't that interesting, but the idea of a stork wizard is very funny. Here's an example of one of the rules that is contested. The treacherous fox can move any number of squares in any direction other than to the sides, but one version of the game allows it to jump to the 2nd or 3rd square in those directions and then move. Now, because some of these games have to be recorded, we have very simple notation to mark this, which is FFAGVWWVDVH parentheses MAMG-FF parentheses other parentheses MVDMVH. So even just writing the game down is kind of a lot to remember. These 2 pieces, the Great Dragon, which can move 3 spaces forward and back, and the diagonals, which is much less powerful than the Great Dove, which can move to the sides. Now I know what you're thinking, Anton, the way these pieces move is too simple. Well, here's a solution for you. Here's the wooden dove. It can move any number of spaces in any of the diagonal directions, or it can jump to anywhere, any space in any of the 4 directions, and then move up to 2 more spaces in that direction. It can also move 2 up, down, left, or right. This is 1 piece out of 209. The free eagle, I like this because free eagle sounds like it should be the name for the United States, and there are a lot of stars here, so America. Here's another piece name that might show up in your nightmares, the flying crocodile. They fly now? Yeah, they fly now. So with that in mind, it's not time to play this. I don't want to spend 30 hours doing it. If you guys want to see me play a game, I will totally play a full game and record it and post it on YouTube. No promises that I will win, but this is a playable game. You can make moves on this board. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. This game is just insane, and I wanted to share all about it and why it's so crazy. If anyone wants to play against me in a game of Taikyoku Shogi, challenge accepted. I've always wanted to play. That's going to be it. See you next time.